Hello and welcome to my presentation on Binance founder Changpeng Zhao's money laundering scheme. So, a summary of this case, Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency trading company. Their logo is that picture there. And the reason that this is a case is because they failed to implement proper anti-money laundering controls. They failed to file proper reports with government agencies. They also failed to report over 100,000 suspicious transactions. So, because of the failure to implement proper anti-money laundering controls, Binance became the spot for illegal transactions, including those involved with extremist groups, criminals, and people trafficking child sexual abuse materials. And of the 100,000 suspicious transactions, some of those allegedly involved US designated terrorist groups, including Al Qaeda, Islamic State, and Hamas. So the article states that from the very beginning, Zhao, which was the CEO in this case, and other Binance executives engaged in a deliberate and calculated effort to profit from the US market without implementing the controls that are required by US law. So that's an overview. The key parties in this case, definitely Changpeng Zhao. He was the CEO in this case. He stepped down after this all happened. He was given 4 months in prison and fined $50 million, which the article really focuses on this 4 month prison sentence, how he cooperated with law enforcement, all his family vouched for his good character. The judge said he didn't think that he was likely to offend, and he deeply regrets his offense. He also told the judge that he wanted to focus his efforts on an online education program for kids. Um, so he was only given 4 months in prison, and his lawyer was arguing for 0 months, which this is an older article from 2023. So from another source, it was said that he actually only spent 2 months at a minimum security prison before he was transferred to a halfway house where he was able to make supervised excursions and even go to movies. So he was fined $50 million, but when he was out of prison, he had a net worth of over $60 billion. So it doesn't seem like he was hurting too much. This article also states other Binance executives, doesn't say any of them by name. Couldn't find any exact names online. I did find on Yahoo Finance said that the mother of his children, not his wife, but his one-time romantic partner, whatever that means, is also a top executive at Binance. I guess not involved in this fraud that we know of, but was interesting. Surprise for the fraud triangle, the relevant risk factors here. There was definitely opportunity in this case, some lack of enforcement of regulation. I couldn't find how long this was going on, but Binance was founded in 2017. They failed to report over 100,000 suspicious transactions. So this was definitely going on too long without being caught. We've also talked about in class there being somewhat of a lag in regulation regarding cryptocurrency. So I think that was going on here. The rationalization here, I definitely think there could have been some rationalization in turning a blind eye. I think it's easy to turn a blind eye to something and rationalize it by kind of saying, like, we didn't see it or we didn't recognize those suspicious transactions. So that might have been how he rationalized that. It was hard for me to try to find a pressure here because surely there was no financial pressure with his net worth, unless he was worried about continuing to fund his lavish lifestyle or competing with other billionaires. But one thing I thought is a possibility is there were terrorist groups and criminals using Binance. So he might have been worried that those groups might come after him if he reported them. Maybe they threatened him personally. All this is unknown, but there was some pressure. So, what can we learn from this case? So, There always can kind of be increased enforcement of regulations in cryptocurrency. This case is actually following another case of a member of the crypto industry who was sentenced to 25 years in prison for financial fraud. So the cryptocurrency industry was already being scrutinized when this case came up. Never turn a blind eye. I mean, anytime that there's an ethical issue, just address it before it snowballs. If the CEO here should have reported those transactions, should have implemented those controls. And that just further emphasizes the importance of controls. So, one of the problems in this case was that they failed to implement proper anti money laundering controls. If they had these controls, they could have avoided some of this. I hope that was a good summary and you learned all about Binance's money laundering scam.